ominous, unknown killer is still at large. After weeks of unexplained murders, the ominous killer unknown is still on the rise. After little evidence has been found, a young boy states that he survived one of the killer's attacks and bravely tells his story. I had a bad dream, and I woke up in the middle of the night. I saw for some reason that the window was open, even though I remember it being closed before I went to bed. I got up and shut it. Afterwards, I simply crawled under my covers and tried to go back to sleep. That's when I had a strange feeling like somebody was watching me. I looked up and nearly jumped out of my bed. There, in the ray of light illuminated between my curtains, were two pairs of eyes. They weren't regular eyes, they were dark, ominous eyes, bordered in black, and just plain out terrified me. That's when I saw his smile. A long, horrendous smile made every hair on my body stand up. The figure stood there, watching me. Finally, it seemed like forever. He simply said it. A simple phrase only a madman could speak. He said, "Go to sleep." I let out a scream. That that what sent me at him. He pulled out a knife, aiming for my heart. Jumped on top of my bed. I fought him back. I kicked, I punched, I rolled around, trying to knock him off me. That's when my dad busted in. The man threw a knife into my dad's shoulder. The man would have probably finished him off. One of the neighbors then had alerted the police. They drove into the parking lot and ran towards the door. The man turned, ran down the hallway, and heard smash like glass breaking as I came out of my room. The window pointing towards the back of the house was broken. I looked out to see him vanish into the distance. I can tell you one thing that I'll never forget was the face, those cold, evil eyes, the psychotic smile. They will never leave my head. The police are still looking for this man. If you see anyone that fits the description in this story, please contact your local police department. Jeff and his family had just moved into a new neighborhood. His dad got a promotion at work, and they thought it would be the best place to live in one of those fancy neighborhoods. Jeff and his brother Lou couldn't complain though. A new, better house was not to love, as they were getting attacked. One of the neighbors came by. "Hello, I'm Barbara. I live across the street. Well, I just want to introduce myself and introduce my son." She turns around and called over her son. "Billy, these are our new neighbors." Billy said hi and ran back to play in his yard. "Well," said Jeff's mom, "I'm Margaret, and this is my husband Peter, and these are my two sons Jeff and Lou." They introduced themselves, and Barbara invited them to her son's birthday party. Jeff and their brother were bent to object, when their mothers said they would love to. When Jeff and his family were done packing, Jeff went up to his mom. "Mom, why would you invite us to some kid's party? If you haven't noticed, I'm not some dumb kid." "Jeff," said his mother, we just moved here. We should show that we want to spend time with our neighbors. Now, we're going to that party, and that's final." Jeff started to talk, but stopped himself, knowing that he couldn't do anything. Whenever his mom said it was final, he walked up to his room, plopped down on his bed. He sat there looking at the ceiling, and suddenly he got a weird feeling. Not so much pain, but a weird feeling. He dismissed it as some random feeling. He heard his mother call down for him to get his stuff as he walked down to get it. The next day, Jeff walked downstairs to get breakfast and got ready for school. He sat there eating his breakfast. Once again, he got that feeling, a feeling that like he needed to do. This time it was stronger. It gave him a tugging pain, but once again he dismissed it. As he and Lou finished breakfast, They walk down to the bus stop. They sat there waiting for the bus, and suddenly, some kid on a skateboard jumped over them, only 9 inches above their heads. They both jumped back in surprise. Hey, what the hell? The kid turned back, and kicked up his skateboard and caught it with his hands. The kid seemed about 12, only 1 year younger than Jeff. His apricot shirt and ripped jeans. Well, well, well. Looks like we got some new meat. Suddenly, two other kids appeared. One was skinnier, and the other one was huge. Well, since you're new here, I'd like to introduce ourselves. Over there is Kenny. I mean, Keith. Sorry, it was Keith. Jeff and Lou looked over to the skinny kid. He had a dopey face, and would expect a sidekick to have. And he's Troy. They looked over at the fat kid. Talk about a tub of loud. The kid looked This kid looked like he hasn't exercised since he was crawling. And I, said the first kid, am Randy. Now all the kids in the neighborhood know that there is a small price for bus fare. If you like to catch my drift, Lou stood up, ready to punch the lights out of the kid. Uh, one, when, when one of his friends pulled the knife on him, tisk, tisk, tisk. I hoped you'd be more cooperative, but it seems we must do this the hard way. The kid walked up to Lou and took his wallet. Jeff got that feeling again. Now it was truly strong. It was a burning sensation. He stood up, but Lou gestured him to sit down. Jeff ignored him and walked right up to the kid. Listen here, you little punk. Give me back my bro's wallet, or else. Randy put the wallet in his pocket and pulled out his own knife. Oh, what will you do? Just as he finished the sentence, Jeff popped the kid in the nose as Randy reached for his face. Jeff grabbed the kid's wrist and broke it. Randy screamed in agonizing pain. Jeff grabbed the knife from his hands. Troy and Keith rushed Jeff, but Jeff was too quick. He threw Randy to the ground. Keith lashed out at him, but Jeff ducked and stabbed him in the arm. Keith dropped the knife and it fell to the ground. Troy rushed him too, but Jeff didn't even need to notice. He just punched Troy straight in the stomach. Troy went down as he fell, puked all over. Lou could do nothing but look in amazement at Jeff. Jeff, how did you? That's all he said. They saw the bus coming. They knew they'd be blamed for the whole thing, so they started running as fast as they could. As they ran, they looked back to see the bus driver rushing over Randy and the others. Jeff and Lou made it to school, but they didn't dare to tell what happened. All they did was sit down and listen. Lou fought with his brother, beating up a few kids, but Jeff knew it was more. It was something scary. As he got that feeling, he felt how powerful it was. Just the urge to hurt someone? He didn't like how it sounded, but he couldn't feel feeling happy. He felt that strange feeling going away, and stayed away for the entire day of school. He even walked home due to the whole thing near the bus stop, and how now he probably wouldn't be taking the bus anymore. He felt happy. When he got home, his parents asked how his day was in a somewhat ominous voice. It was a wonderful day. The next morning, he heard a knock at the front door. He walked down to see two police officers at the door. His mother, looking back with an angry look. Jeff, these officers tell me you attacked 3 kids. That wasn't regular fighting, and they were stabbed, son. Jeff gazed, fell to the floor, showing that showing his mother that it was true. Mom, they were the ones that pulled the knife on me and Lou. Son, one of these, said one of the cops. We found 3 kids, 2 stabbed, one having a bruise on his stomach, and the witness has some you fled the scene. Now tell us. Jeff was. It was no use. He could say him. It was say him and Lou been attacked, but there's no proof of who attacked them first. They couldn't say that they were fleeing because, truth be told, they were. So Jeff couldn't defend himself for Lou. Son, call down your brother. Jeff couldn't do it since it was him who beat up all the kids. Sir, it was me. I'm the one of the who beat up these kids. Lou tried to hold me back, but he couldn't stop me. The kid looked at his partner. They both knew. Well, kid, looks like it's a year in juvie. Wait, said Lou. They all see him holding a knife. The officers pulled their guns and locked them on Lou. It was me. I beat up those little punks, and I have the marks to prove it. He lifted up his sleeve to see several cuts and bruises, as he was in a struggle. Son, just put the knife down, the officer said to Lou. Lou held the knife up and the officers and dropped it to the ground. He put his hands up and walked over to the cops. No, Lou, it was me. I did it. Jeff had tears running down on his face. Huh? Poor bro. Trying to take the blame for what I did. Huh? Take me away. The police led Lou out to the patrol car. Lou, tell them it was me. Tell them. I was the one who beat up those kids. Jeff put her hand. Jeff's mother put her hands on his shoulders. Jeff, please, you don't have to lie. You know it was Lou. You can stop. Jeff watched helplessly as the cop speed off with Lou in sight. A few minutes, Jeff's dad pulled into the driveway. Seeing Jeff's face, he knew it was something wrong. Son, what is it? Jeff couldn't answer. His vocal cords were strange from crying. Instead, Jeff's mother walked his father inside, break the bad news to him. As Jeff wept in the driveway, after an hour or so, Jeff walked back into the house. Seeing both parents were shocked, sad, and disappointed. He couldn't look at them. He couldn't see how they thought of Lou. It was his fault. He was just trying to sleep when the whole thing off his mind. 2 days went by. No words from Lou at the GDC. No friends to hang out with. Nothing but sadness and guilt. That's until Saturday, when Jeff woke up to his mother with a happy sunshine face. Jeff, it's the day, she said as she opened up the curtains and light flooded into his room. What? What day is today? Asked Jeff as he stares awake. Why, it's Billy's birthday. He was now fully awake. Mom, you're joking, right? You don't expect me to go to some kid's party after. There was a long pause. Jeff, we both know what happened. I think this party could be the thing that brings up the past days. Now, get dressed. Jeff's mother walked out of the room and downstairs to get ready herself. He fought himself to get up. He picked out a random shirt and a pair of jeans and walked downstairs. He saw his mother and father all dressed up, his mother in a dress and his father in a suit. He thought, why would they ever need such to wear fancy clothes to a kid's party? Son, is that all you're going to wear? Said Jessamine. Better than wearing too much, he said. His mother pushed him down the feeling to yell at him and hid it with a smile. Now, Jeff, we may be overdressed, but this is how you want to make an impression, said his father. Jeff grunted and went back up to his room. I don't have any fancy clothes, Jeff yelled downstairs. Just pick something out, called his mother. He looked in the closet, what he'd call fancy. He found a pair of black dress pants he had for special occasions, an undershirt, but you couldn't find a shirt to go with it though. He just looked around, found stripes and patterns. None of them was fancy. Finally, he found a white hoodie and put it on. You're wearing that? They both said. His mother looked at her watch and said, oh no, time to change. Let's just go. She herded Jeff and his father out the door, and they crossed the street to Barbara and Billy's house. They knocked on the door. It to and they knocked on the door, and it appeared that Barbara was just like his parents, way overdressed. They walked inside. All that all Jeff could see were adults and no kids. The kids are out in the yard, Jeff. How about you go and meet some of them? Said Barbara. Jeff walked outside to a yard full of kids. They're running around with weird cowboy costumes, shooting each other with plastic guns. You might as well be standing in a Toys R Us. Suddenly, when a kid came up to him, handed him a toy gun and a hat. Hey, wanna play? No, kid. I'm way too old for this stuff. The kid looked at him with that weird puppy dog face. Please, said the kid. Fine. Said Jeff. He put on the hat, pretended to shoot at the kids. At first, he thought it was totally ridiculous, and then he started to actually have fun. It might not have been super cool, but it was the first time he had done something that took his mind off the loo. So much he played for the kids for a while. Okay, super. Until he heard a noise, a weird rolling noise, then it hit him. Randy, Troy, and Keith, all jumping over the fence with their skateboards. Jeff dropped the fake gun and ripped off the fake cap. Randy looked at Jeff with a burning hatred. Hello, Jeff, is it? We have some unfinished business. Jeff saw the bruised nose. I think we're even. I beat the crap out of you, and you got my brother sent to GDC. Randy got an evil look in his eyes. Oh no, I don't even go for even. I go for winning. You may have kicked our asses that one day, but not today. As he said that, Randy rushed at Jeff. They both fell to the ground. Randy punched Jeff in the nose. Jeff grabbed him by the ears and headbutted him. Jeff pushed Randy off of him. Both noses rose to their feet. Kids were screaming, parents were running out of the house. Troy and Keith pulled their guns out of their pockets. No one interrupts or guns will fly, they said. Randy pulled the knife from Jeff and stabbed him in the shoulder. Jeff screamed and fell to his knees. Randy started kicking him in the face. After 3 kicks, Jeff grabs his foot and twists it, and Randy falls to the ground. Need some help? He picks Jeff up by the collar and pulls him into the house. Whew. Throw him into the patio door. As Jeff tries to stand, he is kicked down to the ground. Randy repeatedly starts kicking Jeff until he starts to cough up blood. Come on, fight! Come on, Jeff, fight me! He picks up Jeff, throws him into the kitchen. Randy sees a bottle of vodka on the counter, smashes it over Jeff's head. Fight! He throws Jeff into the living room. Come on, Jeff, look at me. Jeff glances up, his face riddled with blood. I was the one who got your brother sent to GDC, and now you're just going to sit here and let him rot for a whole year? You should be ashamed. Jeff starts to get up. Oh, finally, you stand and fight. Jeff is now to his feet, blood and vodka on his face. Once again, he starts to get that strange feeling, a feeling that he has felt for a while. Finally, he's up, said Randy. As he runs at Jeff, then when it happens, Jeff felt something snap. His psyche is destroyed. All rational thinking is gone. All he can do is kill. He grabs Randy, pile drives him to the ground, gets on top of him, punches him straight in the heart, which causes Randy's heart to stop. As Randy's gasping for air, Jeff hammers down on him, punch after punch, blood gushing from Randy's body until he takes one final breath to die. Now, everyone is looking at Jeff now. Parents, kids are crying, even Troy and Keith, which is easily break from their gaze and see Jeff pointing their guns instead of shooting. Jeff makes a run for the stairs. He runs up, and Troy and Keith let a fire on him. Every shot missed. Even Jeff runs up the stairs. He hears Troy and Keith falling up behind. They loaded the final rounds of bullets. Jeff ducked into the bathroom. He grabbed the towel rack off the wall. Troy and Keith with their knives ready. Troy swings at Jeff, who backs away, bangs him into the tower rack into Troy's face. Troy goes down, and all that's left is Keith, more agile than Troy. He tucks it every time Jeff swings with the tower rack. Keith dropped the knife and grabbed at Jeff's neck, pushed him into a wall. A sink of bleach falls on top of him, of the telescope. They both burn. They're both started to scream. Jeff wiped his eyes best he could. He pulled it. He pulled back the tower axe, hung straight into Keith's head. They were both bleeding to death. Let out an awkward smile. "What's so funny?" asked Jeff. Keith pulls out a lighter and switches on. "What's funny?" he said. "You're covered in bleach and alcohol." Jeff's eyes widened as Keith threw the lighter at him. As soon as the flame made contact, the flame was ignited. The vodka, while burning, burned him. The bleached his skin. Jeff let out a terrible screech as he caught fire. He tried to roll out, but there was no use. The alcohol made him a walking inferno. He ran into the hall and fell down the stairs. Everybody was screaming, saw Jeff, now a man on fire. Drops the gun, nearly dead. The last thing Jeff saw was his mother and the other's parents trying to extinguish the flame. That's when he passed out. When Jeff awoke, he had a cast wrapped around his face. He couldn't see anything, but he felt the cast on his shoulder, stitches all over his body. He tried to stand up when he realized there was a tube in his arm. When he tried to get up, a nurse questioned him. "I don't think he can get out of the bed just yet," he said. He finally put him back into his bed and reasserted it quickly. Jeff was stuck with no victim. And finally, after hours, he heard his mother. "Honey, you okay?" she asked. Jeff couldn't answer though. His face was covered and unable to speak. "Oh, honey, I have great news. All the witnesses told the police that Randy confessed trying to attack you, so they decided to let Lou go." This made Jeff almost bolt up and stop him, halfway, reminding him that the tube coming out of his arm. He'll be out tomorrow, and you two will be able to be together again." Jeff's mother hugs Jeff and says goodbye. Next couple of weeks were just visited by his family. They came by his bandages. They came the day when his bandages were being removed. His family were all there to see what he would look like as doctors unwrapped the bandages from Jeff's face. They were on the edge of their seats. "Let's hope for the best," said the doctor. He quickly pulled the cloth and letting the rest fall from Jeff's face. Jeff's mother screams at the sight of his face. Lou and Jeff's dad were this, awestruck at his face. "What? What happened to my face?" As Jeff rushed out of the bed, ran into the bathroom, he looked through the mirror. He saw his face. It's it's horrible. His lips were burned into a deep shade of red. His parents noticed his left eye and hand twitching. Uh, Jeff, you okay?" "Okay? I never felt more happy." "Look at me. This face goes perfectly with me." He couldn't stop himself from laughing. He stroked the feeling of his face in the mirror and looking at it in the mirror. "What caused this?" "Well, you may recall when that Jeff was fighting Randy, something in his mind snapped. His sanity snapped. And now he is a crazy killing machine. His parents didn't know." "Doctor, is my son alright? You know, in the head?" "Oh yes, this is a typical behavior for a patient that's taken a very large amount of painkillers. If his behavior doesn't change in a few weeks, bring him back here. We'll give him a psychology test." "Oh, thank you, doctor." Jeff, Jeff's mother went over to Jeff. "Sweetie, it's time to go." Jeff looked away from the mirror. His face was formed into a crazy smile. "Okay, mommy." His mother took him by the shoulder to get his clothes. This is what he came in, said the lady in the desk. Jeff's mother looked down to see the black dress pants, white hoodie her son wore. And under her clean from blood and stitched together. Jeff's mother led him to his room, so he made it, so he, and made him put his clothes on, and then they left, not knowing that it was their final day of life. Later that night, Jeff's mother woke up around a sound coming from the back and as someone was crying. She slowly walked into the room, seeing what it was, and she looked back into a horrendous sight. Jeff had taken the knife and carved a smile into his cheeks. Jeff, what are you doing? Asked his mother. Jeff looked over at his mother. I couldn't keep smiling, Mommy. I heard after a while. Now I can smile forever. Yes, Mother noticed his eyes wrinkled and black. Jeff, your eyes! His eyes never seemed really closed. I couldn't see my face. I got tired and my eyes started to close. I broke out to my eyelids so I could see forever. My face, my new face. Just Mother slowly back away, seeing her son was going to sleep. What's wrong, Mommy? Aren't I beautiful? Yes, son, she said. Yes, you are. Let me go get Daddy so he can see your face. She ran into she ran into the room, shook just Dad from sleep. Honey, get the gun. We She stopped to see Jeff in the doorway holding a knife. Mommy, you lied. The last thing they hurried into. Jeff rushed them with a knife, gutting them both. His brother Lou woke up, startled by some noise. He didn't hear anything else. His eyes still shut and tried to go back to sleep. He was on the border of slumber when he got the strangest feeling like somebody was watching him. He looked up. Jeff's hand was covering his mouth. He slowly raised the knife to plunge it into Lou, trying to escape Jeff's grip. Just go to sleep. Well, that's the end of the episode, guys. If you like and favorite if you enjoyed. I know I messed up quite a lot, but it's so really bad. I'm sorry about that. Well, I'm planning to be doing some other creepypastas. Just like and favorite.